Good morning, all of you. Today, one of my students told me that it will be a better video if you are presenting by yourself than presenting the slides. So I thought I will take a video with my face and I will share you the slides after the class. Like that procedure I will follow. Please give me feedback about this video, and now today we are discussing about the same topic that I discussed earlier, that is object oriented programming basics. What is object oriented programming? There are two types of programming: object oriented programming and the procedure oriented programming. In object oriented programming, more importance is given to object or the class, mainly the object, while in the procedure oriented programming, importance is getting to functions. The procedure oriented programming works function by function, calling one function first, that is executing, another function is calling, that is executing, like that. But object-oriented programming is completely based on object. We can take an example of object-oriented programming as a playground, football ground. There, players will be there, audience will be there. These players and the audiences are classes. Suppose Messi. Messi is a specific an instance of the class. There is a blueprint of the class. So we can take Messi as an object. Ronaldinho is another object. Each object is having its own qualities, its own properties and attributes. It acquires the properties and attributes. We are giving the properties of the object Messi is defining in some way, and the attributes like he is running, he is kicking the ball, that are the attributes of the object. Sorry, properties of the object, method functions. We will see the object oriented programming further. Object oriented programming is a computer programming model that organizes software design around data or objects rather than functions and logic. An object can be defined as a data field that has unique attributes and behavior. Attributes, in essence, we are taking Messi as an object. Messi is having a height. He is having a color. His color of the hair. What is his color of the beard. These are coming in the attribute that will be different from Ronaldo. That is another object. That is, each object is having unique attributes and behavior will be different. He is running in a specific speed. That is the behavior of the object Messi. He is running in a different field, different speed. And Ronaldo is running in a different speed. That is the behavior of Ronaldo. We can, another example also we can take, object-oriented programming. Human is a class and object is Narendra Modi. Class is a common name and object is a specific name. What are the properties of Narendra Modi? Narendra Modi have a specific height. He is traveling to Gulf. Like that properties. He is the Prime Minister of India. One property. Another object we can take Donald Trump. Donald Trump is having a set of properties. He is the American president. His height will be different from Narendra Modi. That is, attributes or properties will be different. Then, methods. How he is walking. His walking is a method or behavior of the object. That will be different from Narendra Modi. That then Donald Trump is having a different way of walking, way of speaking. Like that, difference will be there. Class is a common name and object is a blueprint of that class. As a specific object, specific name that we are having, we are comparing with the class. Then we'll see what is procedure-oriented programming. Procedure-oriented programming can be defined as a programming model which is derived from structured programming. That means there will be a structure based upon the concept of calling procedure. That means one procedure is calling, that is executing, and another procedure is calling, that is executing. Like that, procedure by procedure it is executing. The program is a set of procedures, that is procedural programming. For example, I want to go to Ernakulam. From my home, first I have to go to Alappuzha. From Alappuzha, I am taking another bus to Ernakulam. One procedure is I am going from home to Alappuzha, and another procedure is traveling from Alappuzha to Ernakulam. In the programming world, the examples of procedure-oriented programming are Fortran, Algol, COBOL, BASIC, C. These programming languages are based upon procedural programming. Then we'll see what is object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming can be defined as a programming model which is based upon the concept of objects that we already told. Objects contain data in the form of attributes. Data means height or height of Narendra Modi, height of Donald Trump, and weight of Narendra Modi. That is another data. That is the attribute. And then the code in the form of methods. That is Narendra Modi is walking, Narendra Modi is talking. These are the methods. These are representing as code in the class. Then we can see what are the example languages in using object-oriented programming. They are Java, C++, C#, Python, PHP, JavaScript. These all languages are using object-oriented concepts. They are object-oriented programming. Then we'll see what is the differences between procedure-oriented programming and object-oriented programming. First difference. In the case of procedure-oriented programming, program is divided into small parts called functions. That is, in procedure-oriented programming, the whole program can be divided as different functions. But in the case of object-oriented programming, program is divided into small parts called objects. Here one is divided into object and another one is divided into functions. Then another difference. What is top-down approach? Top-down approach is followed by procedure-oriented programming. Here, top-down approach means the execution is happening from the top to bottom, top to down. That is top-down approach. First, main program is executing, then from the main program, the sub-programs are calling. They are written under the main function, and it is a top-down approach. Top main function is in the top and it is executing first, and other programs are calling from the main function. They are written downside. But in the case of object-oriented programming, it follows bottom-up approach. The main function will be in the bottom and the classes will be in top. From the main function, execution starts and each object is creating from the main function, and it is calling to the methods of the object that will be present in the top of the main function. That is bottom-up approach. Then another difference is no access specifier is present in procedure-oriented programming. Access specifier means public, private, protected. These are the access specifier. That is present in object-oriented programming, but it is not present in procedure-oriented programming. What is public access specifier? If we are defining any data as public, it can be accessed from anywhere in the program, any method of the program. Suppose we are defining a data as private, then it can access only by the class in which it is declared. the object of that class only can access that private data. While in the case of protected, it can be accessed by parent class and child class. That we will discuss. What is parent class, what is child class. Then another difference is adding new data and function is not easy in the case of procedure-oriented programming. In the case of procedure-oriented programming, adding a new data or function won't be easy. But in the case of object-oriented programming, adding data and function is easy method. We'll see the next difference. Does not have any proper way of hiding data. So it is less secure. Procedure-oriented programming is less secure since it does not provide a proper way of hiding data. If a data is declared as private, then it can access only by that class. So it is hidden. That is possible in object-oriented programming. But in the case of procedure-oriented programming, data hiding is not possible. So it is not that secure comparing to object-oriented programming. In procedure-oriented programming, overloading is possible. Overloading means giving an extra meaning to the function or operator. If a function add is using, if we are passing two variables to the add, then the addition of two number will happen. If we are passing three variables to the add function, then addition of three numbers will be happen. That is, depending on the input, the function is having different names. That is overloading. Overloading is possible in object-oriented programming and it is not possible in procedure-oriented programming. Then another difference. Function is more important than data in procedure-oriented programming. But in the case of object-oriented programming, data is more important than the function. Another difference based on unreal world. Procedure-oriented programming is based on unreal world, but object-oriented programming is based on real world. Real world programming is doing by object-oriented programming method and unreal world programs are doing by procedure-oriented programming. Then we'll see what are the concepts and principles of object-oriented programming system. First of all, an object. First concept is object. What is an object? An object can be defined as an instance of the class. Instance in the sense it is a blueprint of the class. Object is a blueprint of the class, a copy, a specific copy of the class. Class is, I told you, class is a common name and object is a specific name. Another point saying an object contains address and takes up some memory space. To store an object in the memory, it needs space. It is a physical entity. Object is a physical entity. It is having its own address where it is stored in memory. There will be an address. In the real world, we can take dog is an example of an object because dog is having its color, its name, its breed like German Shepherd or Dash, like that, as well as behaviors, methods, codes like wagging tail, barking, eating, etc. Then another example of object we can say a table. Table is an object. It is having its own height. It is having its color. It all belongs to a class named furniture. Then we'll see what is class. Class is a collection of objects called class. Collection of objects. It is a logical entity and does not consume any memory space. I already told you it is a logical entity. Comparing to object, it is a physical entity. It is having an address. It is takes memory space also. Object is taking memory space, while class is not taking memory space and it is a logical entity. It does not have address. If it is storing in the memory, then only it is having an address. A class can also be defined as a blueprint from which you can create an individual object. That I told you. Class can be defined as a blueprint of the object from which the objects are created. In the previous example, dog is an object, while animal is its class. Under the animal class, dog will be there, human will be there, elephant will be there, and all are objects. Here the class is animal. Then we'll see next concept. Third one, that is inheritance. What is inheritance? When one class acquires all the properties and behavior of parent class, it is known as inheritance. That is, in inheritance, there will be the parent class and the child class. And the parent and the child class acquiring the qualities of parent class. He is taking attributes and methods, data and functions of parent class. So it is used to achieve runtime polymorphism. We will see what is runtime polymorphism soon. Just understand that by inheritance we can achieve runtime polymorphism. In the example, we can say animal is the parent class and human class or dog class. These are child class. Then, what is polymorphism? If one task is performed in different ways, it is known as polymorphism. If one task that is performing in different ways, that is called polymorphism. For example, sound of animal. Human is producing sound in a different way. He is talking, while dog is providing sound in another way. That he is barking. And we can take an example as duck. Duck is producing the sound as backpack, like that. So the animals the sound of the class animal having different meanings, different ways it is presenting. So that is called polymorphism. We can take another example. Add function. Add function. If we are passing two values to the add function, then it is performing addition of two numbers. If we are taking three variables to the add function, three values to the add function, then it is performing addition of three variables. That is polymorphism. There are two types of polymorphism in the programming world. One is compile-time polymorphism and another one is runtime polymorphism. Compile-time polymorphism is also known as static polymorphism. Function or overloading. We told add function, that is overloading with two values or three values like that. That is an example of compile-time polymorphism. The polymorphism is acting at the time of compile time. That is compile time polymorphism. Second one is runtime polymorphism. It is also known as dynamic polymorphism. That is achieving during the time of running of the program. That is runtime polymorphism. We can take inheritance as the example of runtime polymorphism. Then, fifth concept, that is abstraction. What is abstraction? Hiding internal details and showing functionality is known as abstraction. Hiding internal details and showing only the functionality. For example, we can take phone call. From the mobile phone, we are making a call to another mobile. We don't know what is happening inside the phone while making a call. We don't know what is happening in the network. We just know we are performing phone call. We don't want to know, not knowing what is happening inside. So phone call is an example of abstraction. In programming world, in Java program, Java abstract class achieve abstraction. Abstract class in its sense, it is just using for inheritance, getting the qualities of the parent class to the child class. The parent class is then termed as abstract class. If the object is not creating for that class, then that is abstract class. Here, the abstract class is achieving the concept abstraction. Then we'll see the last concept of the object-oriented programming system. That is encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Binding or wrapping of code and data together into a single unit known as encapsulation. Here in the Java class, in the programming world, Java class. In the class of Java, there will be data and code. It is binding as a single piece, as Java class. And the class is having a name. And that is called encapsulation. In the real world, we can see the capsule that we are getting from the medical shop. In the capsule, there will be a lot of medicines. We don't know we are binding all these medicines inside the capsule. That is encapsulation. That's all about object oriented programming and its concepts. If you like my video, you can subscribe my channel, and for online classes you can contact with me in the mobile number I had given. Thank you.